Gotcha. I'm not a player. 916-339-1140 is a text line. It's a very logical and understandable text that deserves a response. Good morning.
Morning.
I think it's time the Sacramento Kings start to give us some answers. Are we taking on purpose? I hope so. What trades are we planning?
Oh, and that is
What's the
very
game
much
plan?
something that the team cannot say.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, just to let you know, we're trying to lose.
Right. So I get it. I do. I get it. A lot of this would be easier if you had, like, look, man, it's like anything you got to go through. Like if you go back to work after vacation, but you know that 6 months later you're going to get you're going on a trip with the family to the mountains. It's 6 months away, but at least you know at some point you're going to, if you make it that far, do something fun. Anything that you're in the middle of, it's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, we don't know what the tunnel's going to be. We don't even know what the light's going to be, and we're not sure if it's a light or if it's like a reflection of something that gets us to the light at the end of the tunnel 2 tunnels later. Like, we don't know. But the team can't. That's why we're doing our jobs to come out and tell you what they're going to do. That's why a couple weeks ago we said this team is entering a rebuild. Get ready for it. This is what we alluded to over the summer. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. That is, the team cannot hold a press conference and say, all right, everything's on the table. We're going to lose a ton this year. We're trying to trade anyone that makes more than $10 million that doesn't rhyme with Schmeeg and Schmurry. And we're open. They can't do that. It's bad for. I would hate it if they did that because they're kind of screwing themselves over. Now, what the best you can hope for is maybe there's a trade or a flurry of trades, and that would be my guess. And then Scott Perry, sometime after the trade deadline, he's going to join us a few times. Mm-hmm. Is going to say, look, it's like I said in the offseason. Oh, Jason, can I role play Scott Perry?
Sure.
Okay, this is what I think. This is about what I think you're going to get after February.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Any way you want it. So, hello, everybody. I'm not even going to try to do an imitation. I'm just going to speak as me, but I'm channeling what I think Scott Perry will say, something like that in February. And then when he comes on in February, I think we should put these together and see how close it was. It's going to be, as I alluded to in the offseason, we want to reestablish a culture here, a culture of winning, a culture of heart, and culture of culture. We couldn't really do anything if we wanted to until mid-December. So that was perfect. That gave me 2 months, basically, to evaluate what we had on the roster and to see what we were looking at. And I also wanted to give our rookie head coach the opportunity to, at least have a functional team and see if we could begin the process that way. Now, obviously, things didn't go as we planned. So over the last few weeks, as you've seen, we've taken steps to greatly reduce our payroll, to bulk up. We're very happy with the bulking up of our draft assets. We've got a couple of young players in X and Y that have joined us in these trades, and now really starts the process. Are we going to make the playoffs this year? Are we going to win a lot of games this year? Well, we're certainly going to do our best out there, and Coach Christie is coaching to win every single game, and the guys on the team are going to try to win every single game. But ultimately, we're looking ahead for some help in this year's draft. We're always looking for value propositions with trades and ways that we can build a consistent, long-term contender that doesn't just, as much as I respect the Beam team year. And by the way, this is something he didn't necessarily say, but this is something I've heard before from the organization. The Beam team year was great, but how low are our expectations that we're using a one and done, which we didn't even make it out of the first round? Like, no, we want to get it to a point where we look at the Beam team year, and hell, we even look at 0-2 in the Western Conference Finals and go, no. We want to continually get to the playoffs, be a contender in the playoffs, and be on the short list of teams that could head to the NBA Finals. That is a long process. We're going to make smart moves. We're going to not take shortcuts. I think that's the best that you're going to hear from him, something in that range. And I would say this too. If that comes, I know there's a lot of people that are worried about interference from above. I'm not talking about God. Interference from above in the organization. I think the way this year has gone, and I think the way the year is going to go, I think that might be the one thing we don't have to worry about. Because in the past, there would be all kinds of crap going on already. There'd be firings, maneuverations, trades, this, that, whatever. So far, so good. I'm not trying to sell you that it's going to work out. What I'm saying is they've done nothing to hint that they are not heading firmly full steam ahead in that direction.
Yeah, one of the things of them losing this much and this badly, in the last 8 games, I think my own belief, I would hope, Dave, if there was anybody organizationally that thought, hey, one tweak here, one tweak there, and this team is this.
Yeah.
I would hope that what this last stretch has done is said, no, they're not a tweak away.
Right.
They're not one move away from getting to what? You know what I mean? And I think they've been, as painful as it has been to watch and to experience and to see on a night-to-night basis, I would hope no one would be of the belief like, hey, just move this and here we go. It's like, no.
If they're of that belief, it's malpractice.
Right. So I don't think
Right.
I want to believe that. That in my heart of hearts, I want to believe. So maybe it's become so difficult and so obvious now. It's like, okay, this is the path we need to go, which is a path we thought they would go, but they haven't done it yet.
And I've also seen a couple of things where it's like, well, are you guys reporting or are you speculating? And I want to clean that up too. Let me be incredibly clear. By the way, I'm just speaking for me here. Just Carmichael Dave here. They are 100% heading towards a rebuild. I'm not guessing. They're 100% heading towards a rebuild. Whether those trades come December 15th, they come in February, or they come over the summer. There is a full understanding within the organization that this ain't it. That is the word. That is what's happening. That is all I'm hearing. You can say whatever you want about them, and I get it. But they're not sitting there going, like to Jason's point, a tweak here, a tweak there. They are incredibly aware. But what they say publicly and what they do and what the organizational philosophy is privately are two completely different things. And that's where we do our job to try to sniff around the edges, figure things out, and try to help the fan base and ourselves, to be frank, at least go, okay, there's no guarantee this is going to work. There's no guarantees, period. But this is the way the large majority of the fan base wanted the team to go. Whether they're going there because they feel like they're being forced to go there by how crap the team is, or they're going there as a general thought. My guess is this. Again, Scott Perry's last stint in New York did the same thing. 13 of 14 players turned over within under 2 seasons. I think that's why he was brought in. I'll say it again. He's a wartime consigliere. I don't know if he's going to turn these players over and it's going to yield a championship, but I know he's going to turn the players over.
Yeah.
That is the part I'm sure of.
Right, and I think most everybody that's watched him would agree. Like, that needs to be some form of the plan. It doesn't have to be every single player, but some of it has to be. And when you look at the big puzzle pieces, then you go, okay, well, what are you trying to move over? I don't think they're trying to move young players. I think you're looking at the veterans that I still think have some value, that have big contracts that can now ease the way that you change your team. Like, if you moved a Maxime Reynaud today, okay, well, what are you getting back in return as far as what he's established contract-wise compared to someone with a large contract that's got a name? You have a chance to really transform your team. So I think that's the road they'll eventually get to.
And I think you and I and most people have our expectation. We talk about the Dow of pessimism. My expectations are so low on the return for these players that at this point, if they get a second-round pick for Zach LaVine, if they get a future first-round swap for DeMar DeRozan, and they get maybe a first-round pick and a rotational player for Sabonis, I'm going to consider that a wash. Now, by the way, they may very well get better than that.
Right.
But I'm keeping those expectations incredibly low because part of it's going to be, in my world, I hope that in March or April, we have all our high-priced talent gone. We've extracted every piece of value we can out of those trades. And maybe in March or April, we see some inexplicable, hard scrabble, dive all over the place, effort over talent wins out of this team to give this fan base just a little bit of hope and a little bit of happiness this year. And also remember, I just said this in November when I'm bitching about those hard scrabble wins because it just cost us 2 spots in the lottery. But that's being a Kings fan. We'll take a break. If there is a bright spot to the season, it's that whether it's a win or a lose, and let's be honest, it's almost always a lose, a loss. Kings Rewind will always put a smile on our face. And the Memphis Grizzlies blowout, Did You Even Try edition of Kings Rewind comes to us next.